For a pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. Ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I'd like to do, this is our first meeting of the year, and so the first thing I would like to do is, if you remember back to last year, at the first meeting of the year, we invited Father Matthew from St. Boniface to come and give us an invocation. What we have done this year is we've invited Pastor Denny from River of Life to again come in and give us an invocation to begin our year, to begin the process and get us started on the right foot. So, Pastor, if you would, please.
Well, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for the service of these men and women and to our community. We're grateful for that. Father, we thank you that we can come to you and you know every detail of our lives. You know every detail of this city and of the future days ahead. So we ask that your blessing would be upon every decision made, every situation they face. Let them sense that there's a presence there with them. So we give ourselves to you and ask that you bless this area, bless this city, bless each family on this, on the council, the mayor, Lord, and their families. We just pray a special blessing on them as we offer ourselves to you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pastor Denny from River of Life, thank you so much. We appreciate it very much. We always feel, if you'll excuse the expression, we feel blessed having you here, and thanks for your kind words. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
All right, we're on number 3 of the agenda. This is the open part of the meeting. If anybody would like to address the city at large, anyone have anything that they would like to say to the city? Again, the nice thing about the small group is we can go right down the road, and we can call you by name if you want us to. So, no, nobody? All right, let's skip item number 3. We're on item number 4 of the agenda. We need to approve the agenda. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Dave, thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Jan, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Excellent. Item number 5, the consent agenda. Chris, thank you.
Minutes from November 30, 2015 and December 22nd, 2015. Recommendation to approve the minutes of the November 30, 2015 special city council meeting and the December 22nd, 2015 city council meeting as presented. B, authorized advertising for the sale of a 2011 Chevy Impala. Recommendation to declare the 2011 Chevy Impala as surplus property and authorize the advertisement for sale of said vehicle through sealed bids. C, off-site gambling license, Richmond Lions. Recommendation to approve Form LG 230 application to conduct off-site gambling for the Richmond Lions for a raffle to be held March 11, 2016 at the St. Boniface Parish Center. Furthermore, to waive the 30-day waiting period for said permit. D, one-day gambling license, NWTF Stearns County Thundering Toms. Recommendation to approve Form LG 220, application for exempt permit to conduct one-day gambling for NWTF Stearns County Thundering Toms for a raffle to be held April 1, 2016 at the Great Blue Heron. Furthermore, to waive the 30-day waiting period for said permit.
Thank you. Council, any questions? No. Okay, then I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Jamie, thank you. And we need a second?
Second.
Dave, thank you. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Thank you very much. We're on to item number 6 of the agenda. We have an ordinance to approve. Chris, if you would, please.
This is an ordinance amendment to adjust both the water and the sewer rates, effective with the first bill of 2016, which goes out in March. As you all know, we've been looking a lot at the water and sewer rates lately. We've been specifically focusing on the water a lot because of the new well we're drilling, the new water treatment plant we're building. We aren't 100% positive what kind of funding we're going to get yet, but projections are looking like at least a small increase is in order for 2016. and that will be reviewed again later in the year when we know more about the construction and we know more about the funding we hope to get. So I am proposing for the water to increase the base charge and the usage charge, moderately increased. And then also for the wastewater, and this has been projected, you know, we're reviewing these rates every year, and the sewer fund is constantly struggling. So you've talked in the past, you don't want to see big increases, so you'd rather see them more frequently. This was in the utility rate study as proposed. So I'm requesting approval for this ordinance amendment beginning January 1 to increase both of these rates.
Thank you. And I'm going to open up a bit of a discussion here
Okay.
so that the community and everybody gets to understand a little bit better. Council, any questions about any of this? Or do you want me to start off on some of this? Me to go ahead? Again, one of the things that we have talked about for years and years and years is the idea that we have to keep both the water fund and the sewer fund is solid, because I guess I shouldn't use terms like that because we're talking sewer rates, but one of the things that we know is that sewer systems, water treatment plants, those kinds of things, have an estimated useful life. And so we know that we have to replace them periodically. So what we're trying to do is keep enough money in the reserves so that when that happens, Cold Springs is in a positive position to address those issues. But at the same time, we don't want to scare anybody by having huge increases. So what we've talked about doing in the past is raising rates slowly. Now we're dealing with a water issue because of Brewery Creek, the demands of the city as it grows, the DNR and all of those other issues, and because of all those things, and where are we going to get the water, and how far are we going to have to pipe it, and will we have to have a treatment plant? So we have all of these new issues going on, and there's a lot of things we don't know answers to. So again, in order to make it so that we're solvent, but at the same time, so we don't have to raise rates a whole lot all at one time, what we've agreed as a council is every year we're going to review it and raise rates slightly so that we can keep ourselves in a positive position without scaring anyone. So that's the theory behind what we're doing. So we are raising rates, but not by a dramatic amount. Okay, there. Council, now are you okay with it? All right, then we need a motion to approve this ordinance.
I make that motion.
Fran, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jamie, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Council, thank you. We're done with item number 6. Item number 7. Approval of the Rocori Trail Resolution number 2016-2. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this particular issue?
I believe that's why I'm here.
Oh, Pete! Pete, please, would you please?
Here or there?
Would you sit over here, please? While Pete's doing this is Pete Weber. He works on our Public Works Department, and Pete has been on the Rocori Trail Construction Board now for a year, maybe longer. And he's one of the 2 representatives from the city of Cold Spring, and Pete has agreed to come to the meeting tonight and explain briefly what it is we're approving and why we're doing it. So, Pete, thank you.
Thank you. This resolution is just basically a letter of support for the Rocori Trail funding to look for funding and tap funding. Right now, we're in the process of designing the next piece of the trail, which is 4.3 miles from here to Rockville. We're designing it, and we're trying to acquire the land. With that comes all the funding that we're looking for. So,
Any questions for Pete? Okay, otherwise, again, in a nutshell, what this resolution is in order for us to make an application for these federal funds, they're federal funds, right? In order for us to make application for these federal funds, each of the cities involved have to have a similar resolution, and so this is just our turn to pass this resolution saying, yes, we support the efforts of the Rocori Trail in making application.
Do you want to just clarify cities involved? That
Oh, okay, thank
Just
you.
for the audience.
Well, and that's a good point. Again, it's the Rocori Trail. Pete, the cities involved are,
Rockville, Richmond, and Cold Spring.
okay, Rocori, just like our school district Rocori Trail, okay? Jan, thank you. And again, let's back up one more second. She brings up a good point. Is this the first leg of this Ricori Trail?
No, actually, this would be the second phase of the Ricori Trail. The first phase came from Richmond to Cold Spring. And
Okay.
now we're going from Cold Spring to Rockville.
Okay, so we've already connected Richmond and Cold Spring, and now we're hoping to be able to connect Cold Spring to Rockville, so that, again, the school district is all connected.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, I need a motion, please.
I'll make that.
Jan, thank you.
I'll second.
Jamie, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you very much. Pete, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Item number 8 of the agenda. John, it's your turn. If you would please join us. Ladies and gentlemen, while he's sitting down, this is John Stevie. He's our Public Works Director. You've seen him before, and I hope you see him again and again and again for a long period of time. Sitting to his immediate left is City Engineer Brian, and Brian will get his turn in a minute. So, John, you're up.
All right, a few requests tonight. We'd like to purchase a Boss V-Plow for the 3/4 ton pickup. Ron's been in the works for a few years to get this. It's $6,629. The cost is split between streets, wastewater, water, and I believe parks as well. So, need approval to hire that, or to buy that.
Okay. Council, any questions about that? Now, is this going to be a machine for driving on the streets? Is that what?
No, it's the V-Plow that hooks onto the front of the 3/4 ton Chevy truck we have.
Okay.
So we can do different things, parks, alleys,
Like-
driveways.
Okay.
Not residential driveways, but like our driveways to the well houses and things like that.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Chris, if you would be kind enough to read this out loud, please.
Sure. And just a note to add, it is in the budget. They planned for this. so.
Okay, thank you.
Recommendation is to approve the purchase of a Boss V plow from Central Hydraulics for $6,629. Furthermore, 70% to be paid out of Fund 1150516413, 10% out of Fund 1165666413, 10% out of Fund 1370716413, and 10% out of Fund 1470726413.
Council, any questions? Otherwise, I need a motion, please.
I will.
Brad, thank you.
I'll second it.
Dave, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. John, thank you. You have a plow.
Thank you. The maintenance tech 2 position, the hiring committee went through and chose John Atchison, so we'd like to approve the hiring of John Atchison pending the completion of a drug test and physical at a wage of $17.03, which is step 0 of group 4.
Yes.
And John is in the audience if you'd like to meet him.
Oh, where?
Right there.
Could we ask you to have John step
Or
in?
could he come over by the table there?
That's what I was thinking. John, why don't you come over here and then say 3 or 4 words of introduction to us so that the city knows who it is we're hiring.
All right. First of all, I don't have much of a voice. I can't talk too much.
Okay?
My name is John Atchison. I've grown up in town here. I've spent 99% of my life. I was born in South Dakota, but ended up here, I think, before I was 1. I think it's a pretty cool deal that I get to be a part of this city and help improve the way we live around here.
Excellent. Thank you. John, we're comfortable with hiring him?
Absolutely.
Council, do you have any questions for John? Okay. All right, then I think the next thing we're going to do is we're going to ask Chris to read out that recommendation.
To accept the recommendation of the hiring committee for the Public Works Technician 2 position and approve the offer of employment to John Atchison according to the terms as stated in the offer of employment dated January 12, 2015, contingent on passing a physical examination, a drug test, and a background check.
Council, any questions? Hearing none, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, too. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. John, welcome aboard. It's good to have you here.
Congratulations.
Warming House employees approve the hiring of Kayla Knapp and Jonathan Ward, part-time as needed at $7.25 an hour.
Questions, council? Otherwise, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Dave, thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jan, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay. For a minute, I was gonna say, why? Then I looked again at them, and then I figured it out. I'm just slow on this end of the table, but I'm not, you know. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Please.
All right, the maintenance tech 4 position, we had 5 applications. Hiring committee went through them. We offered the position to a couple candidates that we thought were qualified for the position, but they turned it down. We got together and met and thought that it'd be a good idea to maybe drop the Tech 4 title and hire another Tech 2, considering we had 17 applications for that position and we had some really good ones. So basically, we would like approval to hire a Tech 2 instead of a Tech 4.
Okay. Do we have to do anything about that, or just tell them we want to do that? We don't need a motion or anything, do we?
No, we should have a motion.
We should have a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. And the motion should say something about,
To hire a Tech 2 position instead of a Tech 4 position.
okay?
Was the main difference in this the mechanical skills piece
Yeah.
of it? And don't we still need that, or?
Well, what we kind of thought about doing it, because Ron is our mechanic, you know, and however long he's going to stay with us before he retires. The goal ultimately was to get somebody here that Ron could kind of train in and take under his wing and help out. At this point, you know, with us not able to get a mechanic right now, we just need bodies. I mean, we just want to get the spot filled and get another person here to help do the work around town. And we just figured we'll have to tackle that when it comes time for Ron to retire, and at that point we'll have to look for a mechanic then.
The main reasons, was it financial, or?
Yep. Hourly rate.
Really? So does this start the process over again, or does it take the pool we have?
Well, that was going to be my next question for you, too.
Do we just start it over again and
No, we
Oh,
can,
we can take the pool, can't we?
we can take from the Tech 2 pool.
the initial pool of applicants?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
My understanding, and again, this was slightly off your question, but my understanding is within a reasonable period of time, like 6 months, we can always go back to that same pool.
Yeah.
Okay?
So-
So we can go back.
That our hiring committee got together, like you said, and talked about it, and we decided it would be good to go to our second choice. John was our first, so let's go to our next choice from him.
So again, basically, what I would like to hear from the council is, can we send it back to their committee, let them decide if that's what they want to do, make the offer, do everything the same, except for go from a 4 to a 2, and then not have to re-advertise, because we have potential candidates already. So, yep,
I have represented the city on that, for that hiring.
yep.
And to turn it down, Jan, you're right, because it was because of money. And instead of changing this and upsetting the cart, I thought maybe when it comes past budget time, we're going to relook what is our wage scale? Are we doing the right thing? I mean, are we offering to everything else? But just to keep this in perspective, I asked the rest of the hiring committee to go look into the Tech 2 and let's train one of those, because that was the money we offered. The other thing I didn't understand was during the application for Tech 4, we had the amount, what we were going to pay, you know, and the thing is, they knew that was the pay scale. Why did they even apply? That's my own of it. So, and like John says, we need to fill the position. And in Tech 2, they had a lot of good applicants, and I looked them over with them, and they had a lot of good applicants for that Tech 2, so.
So you're going to take all the applicants that came for the Tech 2,
So,
review them and say, who do we want to interview again,
Yeah.
and say, here's our top,
No.
whatever.
And this next one was interviewed already.
Actually, what we did was we had 17 applications for that position. We had 5 interviews, and then we ranked them all 1 to 5. We hired John, so now basically what we're thinking is we're just going to go to our second choice, the second number 2 on the list, and offer him the position if it gets approved to hire a Tech 2.
And like, again, we'll have to, at budget time, look again what we're
That
going
other
to do.
position?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Just because we can't hire somebody today doesn't mean we don't have a need. We still have the need, we just have to wait until we can afford to fill that need. And that day just isn't today. But we're going to, I'm going to guess Ron's not getting younger.
No.
Ron still wants to retire. So again, the need is still there. We just have to figure out how we're going to fund that need. So I think for right now, let's fill the position, let's get our job done, make it work, okay? And then next fall, let's figure out how we can afford to make it so that we can get somebody in place. Council, you okay with that?
Yep. I have one question. So
Yep.
the top 5 that our committee picked, you're gonna take the one, your committee wants to pick our next one down the line.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
You okay with that, or
I'm
you
a
want to?
little concerned because it was 2 different committees. Only, so the committee for the Tech 4 wants to take the next person in line that the committee for the Tech 2 chose.
Recommended.
Yep.
So who
Okay.
is all on
Well,
that
but
committee?
let me ask you this and see if this makes any difference. So what he's asking us to do is to change what we're hiring. We're not hiring a 4 anymore.
Right.
We're hiring a 2.
Yep.
So now it's the 2 committees' selection, it's the 2 committees'
And
recommendation.
you guys have gone through those and, oh, okay, all right,
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Can you be okay with it?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's what you're asking for, right? Okay, so again, what we're looking for is a motion to change it so that what we're hiring is, okay, forget the change word, I didn't say that word, okay? What we're looking for is a motion to hire a Tech 2. Is the council okay with hiring a Tech 2?
I'll make that motion.
Dave, thank you.
There we go.
A second?
I'll do the second.
Fran, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Perfect. All right, now you have authority to hire the 2, and now if you want to go back to your committee, or if you want to just take the second person, but come back at our next meeting and tell us who it is that you're recommending, so we can get somebody else on board, and let's get the job done.
Sounds good.
John, thank you. All right, what else you got?
Ron Fuchs, leave of absence, January 20th. He will be out up to 6 weeks on the FMLE.
Okay. Chris, if you would read that one, please.
Recommendation is to approve FMLA leave for Ron Fuchs for up to 6 weeks, beginning January 20, 2016.
Questions from the council?
No.
Good.
I make that motion.
Fran, thank you.
I'll second.
Jan, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Ron, be well.
That's all I have for you.
That's all you have? John, thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, John.
Hang on one second. Okay, it's in number 9. I was going to ask you a well question, but I don't have to ask you the well question because it's in Brian's section, but please stay there just in case.
Yep.
All right, item number 9 on the agenda. It says Brian. Brian, welcome. What do you got?
Mr. Mayor and Council, Red River Avenue, working on design. We've been meeting with the county periodically. They're getting close to turning their design into the state to get it reviewed. We're working on the streetscaping, the lighting, the utilities. So just kind of cranking through design.
Does our plan get turned in with theirs?
Ours does not. Ours is not eligible for that state funding, so we don't have to. It will be bid with theirs is one big package, but we don't have to have ours reviewed by the state.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That summarizes that. As long as we're talking about County Road 2, in your packet, there was a memo that I had, it was addressed to John, but had a lot of good information about the signal at Main Street. So the stoplight, the signal at Main Street and Red River Avenue is jointly owned by both the city and the county. We pay a lot of the operation costs on it. Some of the background is I think that signal went in when Highway 23 was bypassed. It didn't necessarily need to stay when it was done, and from what the county tells me, it was petitioned that it stayed, so that's why there's some cost share there as well with the city and the county. So any capital improvements, any major improvements, major changes to it are split evenly, 50-50 between the city and the county. So With the project coming up next year, there are going to be some changes to that signal. So if you want, I can just kind of go down the list here and summarize some of them, and then we have a couple of decisions to make as well regarding the signal. Number one is a revision of the power source. That relates back to the city's desire to clean up some of the power lines downtown. So because of that, we're just gonna have to find a different way to get power to it. That'd be just like getting power to any of the businesses a different way, kind of the same thing. New signal heads, because we're adding a left turn lane on County Road 2, both north and south, we actually have to add a whole nother signal head, so red, yellow, green through there, because those actually correspond to the lanes in the roadway. So because of that, we have to add new heads. The county is also analyzing, based on the traffic counts that were done a year or two ago by Public Works, they're analyzing the turning movements and seeing if a protected left turn is warranted. So if you were in the turn lane heading north, going west on Main Street, it would likely be at certain hours, and the other direction as well, the other left turn. At certain hours, it likely would be a protected left, meaning you would have, it would actually stop that left turn with a red arrow, allow it to go with the green, and just like a normal protected left-hand turn. At other hours of the day, like right now, for example, when there isn't a lot of traffic, it would probably be a flashing yellow. Kind of the same as the yield on green, but the flashing yellow is the newer version of that. So there's no guarantee that we get that. They're analyzing the traffic numbers now to see if it's warranted. The pedestrian crossing push buttons, as part of this whole project, we're upgrading a lot of our crosswalks to meet the current ADA standards, Americans with Disabilities Act. Part of that, there's a lot involved with signals and access to the push buttons, or the little button that you push in order to trigger the signal to give you the walk function. There's a lot of regulations that surround those, where they're located, how they're located, making sure that they're accessible for everyone. So we're upgrading where the locations of some of those are. There will likely be maybe one push button will be on the signal pole for one direction, and the other one might be on a separate post, just in order to make it more accessible.
Will we be able to use the same posts we have now with modification, or will the whole post have to be changed?
The main signal pole will stay.
Okay.
We'll have to add a smaller 4-inch post alongside of it. And there will have to be some modifications to the big signal pole, but for the most part, those are going to stay put.
Okay.
The next one we come to is replacement of the signal detection loops. So when you come to a stoplight, the light has to determine, unless it's purely a very simple based on time, which there are almost none of those, you pull up to the light and it senses that there's vehicles there, that it needs to trigger a change in it, or it knows that on Main Street, it knows that somebody's waiting. The signal will wait a certain amount of time to allow traffic to clear on Red River before it switches to Main Street. But if nobody's on Main Street, it'll just keep Red River green. So what those are, we're talking about loops in the pavement. So they're just a string of wire. We put them in, I suppose, maybe a 4 or 5 foot square in the pavement. And sometimes you pull up to a stoplight, you can see these in advance where they've actually cut them in. And you just lay the wire in the pavement, and they run an electrical signal through there. And when a large metal object drives over it, such as a car, it disrupts that electrical signal in the wire, and that triggers the computer for the signal, and it says there's a vehicle here. Same reason if sometimes you wait forever at a light even though there's a car there, but if they're too far back, they haven't gone far enough forward to trigger the loop. So as part of the project, we're going to tear up the pavement, so we have to replace the loops. There's no way to save them. So we have a couple of options. We can put new loops back in. The costs range anywhere from about $1,000 to $1,500 each. We need anywhere from probably 12 to 16. It will depend exactly. The county hasn't designed how many are needed for the signal, because now we need ones for the left turn lanes as well. And then on when we redo Main Street, anywhere from 1 to 2 of those if we have to put one back, they'll probably get ripped up again with Main Street. So it gives us a little, kind of a wide range on costs. I have here about 13 to 27,000. It basically depends on the number and where the bid prices come in at. And again, we'd be responsible for half of that cost. So the advantages to loops, they're more cost effective and they've been used reliably for decades. Some of the downsides are that they can have higher maintenance over the long term. If the pavement shifts or cracks a little, they can actually break those wires and then the loop becomes ineffective. Also, they're a little more, once you have them in place, there's no way to really change where that loop is if you were to change the configuration of the road. So one example of that is we're looking at some different construction staging in 2016 and how we use the light. Well, the loops, we really aren't able to accommodate that. The other option is, we call it an Autoscope camera. Autoscope is actually a brand name. And what that is a camera that's mounted on top of the signal. So the Highway 23 intersection has these. On the top of each of the lights, you'll see a camera. And what that's doing is it's looking down at the traffic at the other direction. And that camera is seeing the cars as they pull up. So it's a virtual loop. And so as the car pulls up, it sees it and then it can trigger the light. The advantage to these is that you can pretty much put that anywhere. Someone can go in the cabinet, the signal cabinet, and redraw where it picks up the car. So during construction staging, you'd actually be able to say, well, we know that the lanes are both over here. Well, we can redraw it and pick it up and make the signal useful. The downside is the cost on those. It's about $38,000 to $40,000 to retrofit one of these systems in. You have the 4 cameras, you have the equipment that goes with it. It does give you some flexibility. You also eliminate things in the pavement. The loops, you eliminate some of the handholds. Handholds are just a small manhole. You probably don't even see them in the sidewalk, but as you walk down, you'll see them a ways down. I think there's one right by the state bank. There's one further down by the sidebar. Those are actually the access points for the wires that come from the loops. So they go a couple 100 feet back from the light. They have been used by MnDOT and the county successfully for about 10 years. I think Stearns County says they've been using these. And right now if given the option, that's their preferred choice. They do require some maintenance, periodic lens cleaning, just kind of cleaning the grime and the dirt off of the camera lens. So that's kind of where it comes down to for the detection. A little bit of a description of each of the systems, and then the county is looking to us to make a decision as to which way we want to go. If we want to put the loops back, or if we want to go with the Autoscope system. Keeping in mind the numbers, the costs that I have in here, we're responsible for half of that cost on both of these because it's a major upgrade to the signal.
Thank you. Council, questions for Brian with regards to just the loops versus the camera on the stoplights issue?
The 40 grand is total, not...
Correct, total for the system.
How about life expectancy?
I would think that from talking with them, I think the camera probably has a better life expectancy. The loops can function very well if the pavement holds up, but if there's pavement issues, sometimes maybe the wires just go bad, the freeze thaw. They tend to have more maintenance on the loops than they do on the cameras.
And the light down on 23 is a camera system?
Correct.
Brian, is that going to be set up for emergency that they control the lights too then?
Yes,
What's that called?
That's called the EVP, the Emergency Vehicle Preemption. So they have a specialized strobe light on the emergency vehicles that will actually trigger. Those are the little light bulb, the white light, and the receiver.
How much is that extra on that?
Those are already on the signal, and those will stay. They get integrated right into that.
Oh, okay.
What else? So if I can, real quickly, one's more mechanical, one's more automated. One is less expensive, one is more expensive. One the county prefers, and one we think might last longer, but we know for sure it's probably more flexible, especially during the construction phase.
Correct.
Relatively close?
That's a great summary.
Okay. What do you want, guys?
My vote would be the cameras.
That's my opinion as well.
All right. So we need a motion, is that what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Okay. So can we get a motion to that we're going to go authorize Brian to tell the county that to go ahead with the cameras?
Yes.
Okay, Jamie's making that motion. And who's going to make that second?
I'll second.
Jan, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of voting in favor of the cameras?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. Brian, we're going ahead with cameras. Council, thank you. And Brian, thank you for the explanation. I think you did an excellent job. And Council, thank you. I think that was a real good choice. Yeah, it's going to be slightly more expensive, but over the long haul, I think it's going to be a much better choice. So thank you for that. Brian, what else you got for us?
Next, the last thing on the signal light is lights on themselves. We call them a cobra head light. There's the lights on top that arch over, kind of like a cobra head snake is where they get the name. Currently, those are not an LED fixture. I'm guessing they're a high pressure sodium or some other type of bulb. One of the things we can do, because we are upgrading the lighting along this whole corridor, our lights are going to be a little bit different. We, I think in December, we talked about the light color, what we were looking for. We're going to try and get a little more warmer of a light color, but it's still going to be different than one of the old systems. And so the thought was there, if we want to, we can replace the cobra head. So not the arm, it's just the light itself with an LED. What that would do is then give us a uniform light down the corridor. It would be a cost savings. Let me rephrase that. It would be a long-term cost savings because of the cost of electricity and maintenance and replacement. The LED bulbs last longer. They draw about 50% less power. So that would be the thought there, is if we wanted to, we could take the old head off, put a new head on. They're about $1,500 a light for a total of $6,000. And again, half of that cost is ours, half is the county's. And we are also, when we looked at the streetlights going down the road initially, we didn't necessarily take into account the ones by the corner. So we're actually, the thought would be, and I have to really verify this with our electrical engineer, but it makes sense that we can remove those two that are closest to the light pole. Because we have all those lights overhead, we don't need a decorative pole right there. So right there we have some cost savings as well.
Council, questions for Brian? Okay, and again, so what I'm hearing you say is what we're asking for is do we want to replace just the head, leave the poles alone, replace the heads, and go with a more energy efficient operating light of an LED?
Correct, yeah, that would be, we can leave them as they are, or we can replace them and try and match the light to the rest of the corridor.
What do you want to do?
I want to match the lights to the rest of the corridor with LED.
If we're going to do the project, let's do it right.
Yep, agreed.
Okay, so we have a motion that we're going to replace the heads with the LED lights. Who's going to make that new motion?
I'll make it.
Jamie, thank you. Who's going to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Dave, thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Brian, if you would pass that along as well.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
What else have you got for us?
That's all I have on County Road 2, unless there's any other questions on that.
The only thing else that's come up recently for me is, again, questions with regards to, do we have any idea yet, or is it still too soon as far as traffic routing, that kind of stuff? Because again, there are businesses along the road that want to know what that is. Are we ready for that, or is it still too soon?
We have some ideas, but right now to discuss here is probably too soon.
Okay, too soon?
We're working with the county on, there will be a more broad detour for those folks who are from out of town traveling around town, to hopefully get them away from the city of Cold Spring during the construction, just because it's going to be very tight to get people through. And we're also looking at some more local detour routes in order to get people around and through town.
Okay, so a week, a month, a year?
I'm guessing within a month or two, we'll have a pretty good idea nailed down. When the county gets their plans back from the state, we're going to sit down with them before we bid. We're looking to bid in probably the middle to end of February.
Okay,
So at that point, we'll have a real good idea of what it is.
okay, perfect. I can pass that along. Thank you. All right, anything else, council, regarding County Road 2? Okay, what else you got for us, sir?
Just have well updates. We had a meeting yesterday, a phone conference with the city, Dan Crone, the city attorney, and myself, talking about the land purchase for the well site. So looking at laying out how the parcel would look to include all of the wells, to include any potential treatment sites, and then looking at it, it's looking like we might need a little more acreage than what we had originally had in the agreement. So we're working through the city attorney to work with the landowner's attorney to see what sort of terms we can come up with. So the reason I think for that is we found a lot of good sites for water out there, and we want to try and keep the wells themselves as far apart as possible, just because then they have less interference on one another, they give us better pumping, they give us more water, the less interference they have. So if we can spread them out a little, we're helping ourselves out for the future, as well as giving ourselves a little bit of room inside to potentially put wells in the future if we do need more.
Questions about that, council?
Are the wells going to be drilled at different heights or depths? Or are they all going to be the same depth?
They're all very comparable. Anywhere between that 80 and 100 feet. They're all very similar.
They're going to be close to...
Yep, the geology is good for all four of them between that 80 and 100 feet.
Speaking of that, though, without going into depth, the water quality, that kind of stuff, we've been very concerned about what might be in the water and therefore what kind of treatment we might have to put in place. Is there any update that you can give us with regards to any of that?
We haven't done anything since the last time we talked that would tell us anything different about the water quality at this point. I think they want to do a pumping well and get some better water quality answers for us after the land purchase, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the idea is to get the first pumping well in after we own the land, put it in place, really not put any of the hardware on it, but basically get the well in place. We can bring in temporary pumps, pump it hard, figure out what the water quality really is, and that'll give us our best idea.
Okay.
But some history on that, the original pumping well they did put out there reduced the nitrates after pumping on it for a period of time. So I guess with that, the history maybe shows it could get better before worse, so.
Okay. And better nitrates, fewer nitrates.
Fewer
means
nitrates.
we may not need that extra treatment?
Anything's possible.
Possibly. Okay, perfect. Anything else you can tell us about the wells? Anything else you have for us, Brian?
That's about all I had.
Okay. Council, what else do you got for Brian or John?
So this is going to be, if these wells are going to produce years after years, and nitrates get up, we're just going to go ahead and treat the nitrates. We're not going to go looking for water anymore, right?
Well,
It has substantial water amounts.
I think we'll examine it at the time, but if I had to make a guess right now, that's the way it would go, just based on the difficulties we had finding this.
I'm just going
to
by
this point.
kind of heads up with people listening. It's like, we've beaten this thing so much, and the water, is there going to be God's water any place pretty soon?
It's going to be tough.
Yeah. So a little heads up is sooner or later, or whenever it happens, we're going to treat this water if the wells are pumping good, right?
Right. And it will likely happen at some point. If I were a betting man, I would say at some point it will happen.
All right.
We hope not right now, and we hope not for a long time.
No, but something to keep in the back of our minds, so if it does come up, it's like we didn't surprise anybody, so, all right.
Okay, one last item did come up, and guys, I hope you have something that you can tell us. If not, just tell me you have nothing. In 16, we're redoing Red River. We're doing the upgrades, the improvements, okay? But we know that in 17, we're doing Main Street. Can you give us any update as far as where are we with the planning of that? Have we started? Have we formed a citizens committee? Where are we with that?
We haven't, the plan would be in, once we get the 2016, the Red River plans out and bid, would be to start looking at Main Street. We would look at a feasibility report to start in the same way that we've done the other projects. We'd probably lean on the downtown committee that's already formed. And the downtown committee actually didn't just include people from Red River, it included people from Main Street as well. So that, because we knew the two would really be done in conjunction with one another.
Okay, so again, it sounds like you've already got a good head on your shoulders. You already, both of you, not me, one of you, okay? And you've got a good opportunity to start the planning process already, so we're well on our way.
Yes.
And you got us well protected.
Yes.
And we're in good shape.
You're in good shape.
Can't ask for more.
We've already got the survey.
There you go. We can't ask for more than that.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you. Anything else? All right. Perfect. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, item number 10 on the agenda. This one's going to take a little bit of work. Item number 10 on the agenda, again, every year at the beginning of the year, we have to go through and decide who's going to sit on which committee. So if you would be kind enough to pull it out, take a look, and let's start talking about it. Chris said that she would help direct this one, so Chris is going to take it from here.
Good?
Effective immediately.
Okay, so I'll just tell everybody what they're gonna...
Okay, you tell everybody.
No.
What do you got?
I actually do have one thing I would like to point out, which is just a little housekeeping issue, but fifth item down, we had just a change in one of our depositories. They changed their name from Smith Barney to Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, and we accidentally didn't take the old one off and put, so just cross that one off, the one that says Smith Barney. Right below it is its replacement.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So we didn't add one, and we just forgot to delete one.
Correct, because they just changed their name.
Perfect.
So that's all I really have. Is there something else you wanted me to do?
I'm good. Okay, let's start filling in some voids then. And again, your job, if you would please, is to make sure we don't miss something.
Okay.
So the first one it looks like we have to have is a liaison to the Tri-City Cable Commission. Who's doing it now?
I'm currently on that, and
Okay.
I've only been to, the meetings are only quarterly, so I've only been to a couple meetings, so I would be willing to continue that because
Okay.
I feel like I don't know a whole lot yet. But
Okay, anybody have any heartburn? Okay, good, let's leave Jan at that. Then Fire Department City Council Liaison,
I'm doing it right now. I'd be happy to do it again.
anybody have a problem with that? Okay, Dave, thank you. Park Board, City Council Liaison, Fran, I think you're doing that right now.
I can do it again if you want.
Anybody have a problem with Fran doing it again?
If somebody wants to take my place, they can.
Okay, then we'll leave Fran doing it again. Ricori Trail Construction Board Liaison. As we mentioned earlier, we have two of them. Each city has two members. One of our members has been Pete Weber from Public Works, and it works nicely to have somebody from Public Works just because a lot of what we talk about is maintenance of the trail, moving dirt, all that kind of stuff, and who better than somebody like Pete? So if you're okay, I think we leave Pete on there, but then we need someone else. Now, this is the one of them that I've been serving on for the last, whatever it is. I should mention one more thing. The chair of this committee rotates every year. This year, it's Cold Springs' year to be chair of the committee. So if somebody wants to be representing Cold Spring on that committee, what you're doing is you're agreeing to be the chair for the year. So you'd be taking your first year, and you'd be taking your first year being the chair of the group. Otherwise, I'd be willing to do it again.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like I could do that one again. Planning Commission. Who's on it right now? Dave?
I'm on it right now, and so is Jan.
Okay, you want to do it again? Jamie, you want to be a part of that? Fran, you want to be a part of that?
We're going to talk, can we jump ahead a little bit at the EDA? You know, weren't we talking, we had two good for the EDA, what am I trying to say?
Well, are you,
I'm talking about that seat of
Right.
why there is 2 liaisons to the EDA, and we have 2 really good people that want to get on this EDA that really would do the city some good, and I like that. And we don't have enough chairs for them, so to speak.
Yep.
So I was just wondering, is Jamie Knapp and I are the liaisons for that, and I was wondering if I give up my chair for one of those people that apply for that job, if we can do that, or can we create another?
I would be less inclined to increase the size of the group, just because, first of all, we create an even number, which is problematic, and the bigger the group, the harder it is to make decisions. Correct me if I'm wrong, we have to fill the chairs, but with whom we fill the chairs, as long as we have one council representative, one council liaison, I think we'd still be okay. Can we do that?
no, we actually, by state law, have to have 2 council members.
We have to have for that?
And we have to have an odd number of members, 3, 5, or 7.
Okay, so we have to have odd.
And 2 have to be city council
Okay,
members.
so in other words, we can't add 1, but we could add 2 to the EDA if that's what you wanted to do.
That's not what was.
Well, what he's asking is, we have 2 council members on there right now. He
Yes.
was asking if we could scale that back to 1.
Correct.
So both of our applicants could get a spot
Correct.
and keep the commission to 5.
Correct.
But we can't.
Correct?
Have
But
to
what
have
I'm
2.
saying is, you have to add 2, so,
Oh, right, yeah, we'd have to go up to
Because
7.
I'm going by, I would give up mine, because Jamie is doing a good job there too, is to let these candidates go. I mean, I can't see that either, because for the first time, we really have some good candidates for that EDA, so.
well, temporarily, do we want to increase the size of the group? If I get to answer my own question, I'm saying no.
Yeah, I don't think we want to increase the size of the group either.
Okay, so then we would keep the group at the same size, and according to Chris, we have to have 2 council members, so it gets a little bit simpler. But I guess what I'm asking you is, do you want to be on EDA or Planning Commission? Do you have a preference? Here's the reason that I'm excited about this. Please remember what's going on in Cold Spring right now. We're going to redo Red River Avenue. The Planning Commission has agreed that they're going to take on the responsibility in 16 to determine what the usage of this building is going to be. So a lot of exciting things are going to happen. EDA has a possibility of selling some more of their lots, having some more businesses coming to town. There's some exciting things happening here. Who do we want to be sitting in the chairs to help facilitate, to help make those decisions? Do you want to be on EDA? Do you want to be on?
At one time, I know, and I know I've been on here for a while, and I know previous mayors always wanted to switch those around so everybody got the taste of the, not that everybody was on the planning and planning and planning. Then when it came to somebody else into the planning, they didn't have any experience in the other council. Because then when we talk in groups. We don't talk like, oh yeah, I was on the planning, I know what that is like. All of a sudden now we're like friends EDA, and I know all the way through. I've been on the planning, I've been on EDA, I've been the fire, and I've been on parks. So I know what all they think and how they do. But do the rest of the council people need this?
Okay, I think the short answer to the question is institutional memory is vital. But at the same time, you have to have a passion for what you're doing. If you're never going to show up for a meeting, if you're never going to bring anything to the meeting, are we doing anybody any favors by doing that? So again, if we want to switch it up, I say, let's switch it up. I don't want to say, by the way, one of the few things that the mayor gets to do, the mayor gets to say, you will do this. But if I do that, am I really helping myself? I don't think we're helping the city. I don't think we're helping anyone. If we want to change it, then let's change it. I agree with you. We should all have rounded experiences, but how should we do it? That's why we're having this discussion.
And I think it's good, like when you're on those committees, the first year you're on it is really a learning curve. So it's nice to be on like 2
Yep,
back to back.
yep.
But I do agree that then we should have some change up, but just to do one year, one year, you don't get enough knowledge in that 1 year.
Yep. By the time you figure it out, you got switched.
You're on.
But
I
the
think
but the
that
thing
too, yeah,
is,
just because I've been on the planning for 1 year and it's, you're just getting into it.
and again.
And I would like to stay on another year.
Well,
That's my opinion.
But we have, I don't mean to be rude, but we have 2 newbies here. And so you haven't been on 2 years of anything yet.
I know, and-
So what I'm saying is, let's let those two right where they are, EDA and planning, let's leave them alone. So we're talking about the 2 of you. Do you want to flip-flop? Do you want to keep it the same?
I have no preference.
I
It's up
don't
to you.
either.
So,
Yeah.
Just a point of, EDA meets at 4 in the afternoon, so I don't know if that's I just want to make sure everybody,
Yeah.
anybody
And I
volunteers
can-
for EDA knows.
I can hit that meeting
That's the
without
time.
any problems.
and that's more difficult for me.
All right,
so-
then let's, I'll do the E EDA.
Okay.
So, planning commission, we're going to leave as Dave and Jan, correct?
Okay.
Correct.
EDA, we're going to leave as Jamie and Fran. All right?
What is going to do?
Sounds good. And then, I'm turned the page over. Then there's a bunch of other things that we have to consider, that we're moving a couple of meetings because of elections and that kind of stuff, which is another thing we have to remember. Community, please, this is an election year. If you've always wanted to be on the city council, this might be your opportunity to start getting involved. The election season starts with the township elections in, is it? In March? March 8th. So they started off, then there's primaries, and then there's the general election in November. So if you've ever wanted to be involved in the small local community politics, this is a great opportunity. So, all right, so we're going to change some dates. Did you get the committees that we need? Is everything filled?
Yes.
I have one question.
Okay.
Is he still on this, on the EDA?
Oh, no, that is Gary Tyson. Sorry about that. Joseph Warren is not on the ED anymore. He was replaced by Gary Tyson.
By Gary Tyson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 6 months ago probably. Sorry about that.
All right.
The park board has an opening. Can I jump to this? Is
Please.
that okay? Park board has an opening, as you can see, and we advertised for that. Park board meets tomorrow night, and they're going to be interviewing candidates for that position. So we'll actually have to leave that blank till your next council meeting.
Okay.
They'll have a recommendation for you.
We did add one last year to you, Wakefield Township.
Yeah, that Dave goes to the Wakefield
Yeah.
Township liaison.
Okay, so that's not even on the list.
We didn't catch that. Good one.
I-
Good point, Dave. Do we want to add that to
I think we best.
this?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll keep doing it. That's fine.
Thank you. For at least one more year.
They've been pretty good to me so far.
Okay? And please, if you would, keep being nice to him. Oh, that's good. That's good. All right. So what I'm going to ask now is I'm going to ask Chris to go through the things that we are changing so that everybody knows what we're going to vote on, because in a minute, we're going to have to vote to approve Resolution 2016-1.
Just wanted to point out one other quick thing. So the park board, you'll feel like, hopefully we'll have a recommendation at your next meeting, and same with EDA. They'll discuss that at their, and I'm not sure if it'll be the next meeting or the meeting after. And then, yeah. That's it.
Okay, and I have one more that we should make sure of. Actually, we don't have to. You willing to keep doing it?
Yeah,
We don't have to do anything about it.
somebody else wants to.
What we did is, Fran just went through and pointed out a number of different spots where council members or public works people fill in, and he asked if we wanted to change any of those. And basically, if we're all okay, I think we just leave all the rest of them as they are.
Okay.
So, okay.
All right, so you want me to just list the changes?
I think we should just list the changes.
And then, are you thinking we'll go ahead and approve this resolution tonight, and I'll just get you a final copy with your changes?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Is that
All right.
okay? Excellent.
Okay, so the changes I have is to cross out, delete Smith Barney.
Yep.
Tri-City Cable Commission Liaison, Jan Dingman. Fire Department Liaison, Dave Heinen. Park Board Liaison, Fran Ramler. Quarry Trail Construction Liaison, Pete Weber and Bob Thielen. Planning Commission Liaison, Dave Heinen and Jan Dingman. EDA Liaison, Jamie Knapp, Fran Ramler. Wakefield Township Liaison, Dave Heinen. And then under Economic Development Authority, changed Joseph Warren to Gary Tyson.
Okay, and then there's 4 date changes. Everybody saw the 4 date changes? Because that's part of this resolution as well. Put them on your calendar, please. Okay, all right. If you would be kind enough to read what's number 10 on the agenda, please.
Recommendation to approve resolution number 2016-01, a resolution regarding the annual appointments and meeting dates for 2016.
Can we get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Jamie, thank you. And a second?
I'll second it.
Dave, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, well done. And for the next meeting, we'll have all of the extra names filled in because EDA and Park Board will come back with their feedback. All right, we're on item number 11 of the agenda. And again, Chris has decided that she would be willing to help us with this one.
Just wanted to give everybody an update on the hiring for the city administrator position. You appointed the hiring committee at one of the last meetings. We've made copies of the applications, got them all to everybody on the hiring committee. We're going to meet on Thursday to review them and choose who we want to interview. And then we'll go from there.
Questions for Chris? Excellent. Thank you. All right, then we're on item number 12 of the agenda, paying the bills.
Let's pay them.
Okay, motion by Fran. Do we have
I'll
a second?
second it.
Dave, thank you. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Item number...
Oh, yeah, me.
Oh, you're going to abstain? Excellent.
I didn't realize that.
Excellent. Okay, you're going to abstain because one of the checks is written to you, and so technically...
Yes, thank you,
Excellent.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, we're on
I thought I was
item...
going to get an email.
Yes, you did. Item number 13, general questions and comments from the council. Jamie, you're first.
I just
Wait
like,
a second, I want to ask you a question before you get into your general stuff. What you were willing to do for the council as at the end of December, we had another listening session that you agreed to lead.
Yes.
Would you please give us a little bit of an update on how that went?
I will. So we met 6:30 on the December 29th. The Community Bank, Granite Community Bank, was kind enough to host the meeting. We had 2 local churches present there. We had some great discussion around some of the needs of the community, some of the things that they felt the community was doing well, some not too many concerns that they had, but it was a great open meeting, some good discussion. One of the things they wanted to mention that our local churches are open for businesses to use as conference centers. So if any business out there has a need for a conference center from 50 to 500 people, please call one of the local churches. They're more than willing to let you use their space for free and accommodate you in any way they can. And then there's some other smaller things that we'll follow up later on with some of the other meetings we had to try and bring everything together. So other than that, it was a very productive meeting. I'm glad we held it.
Excellent.
The second thing was, at our last EDA meeting, we have, the city is going to be sponsoring the next Chamber of Business After Hours program, which will be held here at City Hall on February 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. Free snacks.
February 4th, right here.
Right here.
In City Hall.
In City Hall at 5 p.m.
Okay.
We'll have beverages and snacks.
Okay, and this is just a chamber function?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Anything else?
Nothing else.
Perfect. Dave?
Nope, got nothing.
Jan?
Nope, I'll pass.
Fran? Chris? Okay, I've got nothing either at this point. So I guess we're on item number 14 of the agenda. We have to call it quits. Who wants to move that?
All motion.
Jan, thank you. Who wants to second it?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was a good meeting. I appreciate it.